All right, everyone. Happy holidays. This is the December edition of the Fernandez Legacy. And with us, of course, is Commissioner Mildred Fernandez and our producer, Taylor. Taylor, I'll let you take it from here.
As someone who's been deeply involved in public service, how does it feel to watch today's runoff election unfold?
The new elections, you mean?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's very interesting, very different from when I used to do elections. I think there is a lack of knowledge from the candidates about the positions, and that concerns me.
Mm-hmm.
That concerns me because once you're elected, you're by your own, as we say. You can have a campaign manager, a campaign consultant, and they will guide you to do your very best in order to win. But once you win, and if you don't understand the responsibilities of the position, you are in trouble because it requires a lot of knowledge, a lot of reading, because millions of dollars, you're going to approve and vote for millions of dollars that if you don't know where they're going, it's all taxpayers' money. It's not even your money. So you have to have that knowledge. What I have found is that though we have candidates that they don't know at all what those positions means. Of course, we have candidates that belongs to the establishment,
Mm-hmm.
and the establishment will always take advantage of that.
Oh, yes.
But other than that, I'm getting very concerned because sometimes takes more than a year for a person to really grasp what it's to be in the a board of county commissioners or the council of the state.
Right. From professional experience here in Orange County, I've learned that it does take a lot of time to understand the inner workings of government and getting acclimated to the business of government, particularly when you're not used to working in government, or even for a lot of the candidates that we see here in Central Florida, they come from an activist or advocacy point of view, and it's that much harder. I know there are, tricks to the trade and having, friends on the inside to help you along. And I think you mentioned this when you were telling us your history as a commissioner. When you became commissioner, did you have that one person that from day one was there to say, okay, Commissioner Fernandez, this is how it's done. Let me help guide you through this government maze?
It's interesting because I think that I always said that I was like a different animal.
Yes.
Because I come from corporate world.
Yes.
And in corporate America, you have to learn very fast everything. The county commission, the county administrator was amazed because they usually told me it has only taken you 6 months to understand how this works.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because I think the climate that I came from, not only the corporate world, but I work also for the federal government, I learned in terms very quickly how to manage the system. In addition to that, the county administrator, I think that he saw in me potentials, and then I was invited to attend the Harvard Government School.
Correct. Yes.
I was there 3 weeks, and it was an excellent experience that I went,
Mm-hmm.
even though I had all that background. And of course, I am very disciplined, and I knew that in order to vote for millions of dollars, I had to read. So Saturday and Sunday, I was in my room all day long reading the huge book that I had to see in order to vote on Tuesday. So on Monday, when they would come to brief me, I knew what questions to ask.
Right.
So they were amazed on that side because they usually told me it takes between 1 year and 2 years for a commissioner. You have come into a place that you are the one asking the questions. So briefing you, it's very easy. And of course, sometimes I would ask questions that they didn't have the answers. And then they would tell me, Commissioner, I think, do you feel like seeing the people after 5 o'clock to discuss that? And I would see them.
Oh, yes.
To me, that was very, very important. In addition, that then you learn who votes with you in the county commission, because we are in the sunshine law.
Correct.
So I cannot talk to commissioners. But then if you, as a candidate, attend those meetings, you can see the body language.
Yes.
You can see who votes with whom.
Yes.
And then when I was in a discussion of an issue, then I would count by the discussion of my colleagues. I would draw like zeros or ones,
Okay.
how the vote was going to be.
All right. A little bit of the secret
Yes,
sauce there.
I mean, you learn a lot.
Commissioner, on that point, when as a commissioner and understanding how the business of government occurs, the mayor has control of the agenda. How were you able to get your initiatives onto the agenda, given with sunshine, given the difficulty for some members of the commission in communicating with other members? How were you successful in getting your?
I was very successful because the county administrator, first of all, he was a great individual. He is an engineer, and he understood very well my background.
Mhm.
So whenever I had an initiative, I would meet with him. First of all, I was savvy enough to look what was the history before I had any initiative coming up.
Right.
And then, of course, the county administrator, I would say, what is the history in this subject?
Okay.
And then he will brief me. And then he will say, why you're asking, Commissioner? And then I said, I would like to see this going on. Well, Commissioner, you have a point, and this is the way we can advise you how to do that, and we will get it done.
Wow.
I always remember one initiative that Melvin Perry, the judge, the chief judge, which I love him, he was missing some funds. The state was not going to give him funds for the family court.
Okay.
And I thought, even before becoming a commissioner, the family court I was a very big advocate.
Okay.
Because of domestic violence cases and so forth. So the judge came to see me, and I said, how much money do you need to leave that court open?
Okay.
And he told me 100,000. And I said, okay, let me try that. So I met with the county administrator, and I said, this is very important. I think this cannot be closed. How can we get that money? And I want to move the motion. So the county administrator explained to me that in the jail, the inmates paid $1 a day for being in the jail, and that represents $2 million.
Okay.
So he said, since it has to do with the court,
Right.
$100,000 can be taken from there
Right.
and applied to your initiative, to your advocacy. Okay, I prepared my case, and I presented to my colleagues. The mayor at that time was not too happy for me to present that. And I wanted immediately approval, of course. I didn't want that court to be closed.
Correct.
So the mayor said, well, maybe we can do that, but then we should put it in the next year budget. And I said, no, Mayor, I would like to see it. When I saw resistance from him, I got up and I went to the county administrator that he sat in the mornings with us. And I said, what's gonna happen now? Don't worry, Commissioner. Tell him that the money is available. I went back to my seat and I sat, and then I pressed my button and I said, Mr. Mayor, the money is available. I think that we should move and approve this. So I'm going to move a motion.
Excellent.
And then I had a person I knew my colleagues. So as soon as I moved that motion, I had a second.
Wow.
So the money was approved. As a matter of fact, Chief Perry sent me a letter. It is such a beautiful letter that during the day of sentencing, a person came and read that letter to show to that other judge the things that I was able to accomplish for the community.
Wow.
It really, and as a matter of fact, I see Chief Judge very often nowadays.
Right.
And each time he sees me, he says, I cannot forget what you did for the family court.
Commissioner, every time we meet, whether it's formally in front of the camera or informally in just conversation, I get 3 more questions to every statement that you make, and my mind just churns and churns. And there's so much to talk to you about, and I'm not going to hog up your time or Taylor's. So just saying that, Taylor, your next question.
Looking back on your own campaigns, what did you learn about connecting with voters in Orange County?
Oh, that was wonderful. I think that's the most exciting event during a campaign, meeting voters. I have a tendency to listen. I don't know if it's because I'm a mother and I'm a grandmother, but I love to listen. So each time I would knock doors, I would introduce myself. I had in my mind also what I wanted to bring across when I met a voter. So I wanted to be brief and to the point. That goes with my corporate background. In IBM, you have to be short, sweet, and direct. Sometimes we look like we're pushy, but it's because when you're dealing with high-level executives, you cannot go around things. So I brought that to the campaign. And one of the things I would always carry was a notebook and a pen. And when I met that voter, I would listen, what are your issues? What things really you would like to improve in the community? Then the walking. I remember in my first campaign, I walked the district twice. I walked for 2 years from 9 o'clock in the morning to 4 o'clock in the morning. Sunshine, rain, Mother's Day, anytime, because I had a commitment with the voters. I remember one time I was walking Conway, which was part of my district. And I knocked this door, and the gentleman, he said, you know what? I don't know you, but this is the second time you're knocking my door. That tells me that you're a hard worker. I'm going to vote for you. So the most exciting thing is knowing the voters, understanding the issues, and you have a big diversity in terms of races in District 3. So you have to understand what are the needs, even though we're all Americans, that there are special needs, and you have to listen to that. And then I was able, once I got elected, to start working for those things. In those days, I was able to start the pecan clinics. Pecan clinics are clinics for underserved, uninsured people. So since I worked for 2 years, I knew the places that I wanted to start doing things.
Okay.
When I was elected, I was talking to staff, I said, I would like to have a pecan clinic because it's very much needed. Well, Commissioner, we're going to start looking for the place. No, I have the place already. And in my first year as a county commissioner, we opened the first pecan clinic.
Wow. Commissioner. First of all, I'm shocked that you're not consulting on every campaign from here to Chicago and back. But second, we just recently, we'll be ending the Orlando City elections today with the District 3 runoff. However, when I look at this past election cycle, I see a lot of candidates talking, I'm going to fight for you, fight. I'm going to fight for you. Or, this is where I'm from. This is what I've done on this board or that board or for the community, but not the other way around. Like what you just said, you walked 2 years prior to your election. That's unheard of in this election times. And also, while talking to your voters and residents in general, you also were observant of what was actually happening in your community, and therefore you were able to create the Pecan Clinic in your first year. Is that missing? And I think I kind of answered my own question. And is that missing? And why are candidates and campaigns not going back to that form of campaigning where they know exactly what their constituents want and need?
I think that the most important issue going on right now is that people want to be in high-level positions without knowing how to get there. They don't prepare themselves. They think they have all the answers. They don't want to ask.
Okay.
I'm always available to advise.
Sure.
Maybe they feel threatened to ask because that can happen. I don't have any problem to ask. And that's why the county administrator, being such a brilliant individual, I love him because I learned from him.
Yes.
I didn't have all the answers. I had a great corporate background. Very few candidates running today will have a corporate background. I did my 25 years with IBM.
Correct.
But one of the, I think that one of the qualities, and I'm not afraid to say it, because when I was going to do my retirement, my early retirement, I remembered IBM brought some consultants to do a test on your personality and to prepare your resume. And of course, I could never use my resume here because I was not able to find a job with that resume. But I remember that when the consultant discussed with me the results of the test, he told me very clearly, you have one of the biggest assets a professional can have. You're a problem solver.
Yes.
You see a problem and already in your head, a solution is coming.
Yes.
Through the years, you know that I have 2 children engineers. My youngest one, that is a mechanical engineer, one time he came to me and said, Mom, you're such a visionary woman. And I look at him and I said, Eric, is that true? I never realized. Yes, Mom.
Mhm.
The way you have raised us, the way you conduct yourself, you're visionary. I think that's a quality that is important also. But what I don't see today in candidates is the desire to learn
Mhm.
and to look for help.
Mhm.
And there is nothing wrong. If you don't have to have all the answers.
Correct.
And I think in my case, it is and continue to be at my old age. I want to continue learning. And the other thing is that I ask the Lord for wisdom.
Mhm.
Every time I ask for wisdom, because if He helps me, I'll be able to help others.
Amen. Commissioner, your son's right. Visionary is a good word to describe you, because every moment that I speak to you, there's another project that you created or initiated and helped develop. And for, again, I did not know this for 10 years in and out of politics. And so learning your legacy again, and having that vision and the ability to ask for what you want and be able to negotiate that, to be able to navigate that on the board with the mayor, with the community, is impressive. And again, I'm surprised you're not a paid consultant all over the world, because the knowledge that you bring in having your background as a mother, most importantly, and as a corporate professional and everything else has made a difference, and quietly, strategically within the district. And I also believe in Orange County. Taylor?
When you look ahead to the 2026 and 2028 election cycles, what issues do you expect to be at the center of local conversations?
Wow. Overall speaking, I think that property taxes is going to be a big, big issue. And with my good friends in legislature, I know bills are already being presented.
Yes.
How that is going to affect, I'm debating
Mm.
what would be the right solution
Okay.
for everybody. We have different issues in healthcare. We have a community that we have a lot of seniors.
Correct.
And what I would like to see is that those candidates that are running for 2026 understands what the issues are. And it's not about fighting. Give me alternatives.
Okay.
One of the things that I learned as a candidate is that you have to have 3 issues that you have to concentrate. And then you work toward those issues. Of course, when you're seated in the legislature, over there, it's even more difficult.
Okay.
Because you're one of 120.
Correct.
If you're in the House, if you're in the Senate, it's one of 40. So you have to negotiate.
Okay.
And the good thing if we take the council or the board of county commissioners,
Mhm.
is your relationships with staff. Staff can be your very best friends, or they just can tolerate you
Yes.
and do in the back what they want.
Okay.
Because remember, we're transitional.
Mhm.
We're not there forever.
That's right.
So it's only 8 years if you complete your 8 years.
Correct.
So if you have the best relationships with staff, you have members of staff that they have been there 25, 30 years.
Mhm.
Those individuals knows the nut and shells of everything going on.
Exactly.
That's why it's so important when you are new, ask for history first.
Exactly.
And
Yes.
then you can set up don't say what you want to do. You just look for history
Okay.
And then you set your priorities. I always remember that in my 2 years walking, I look at my district and I said, okay, my district, it's a working class district,
Okay.
but it's we cannot build a subdivision because it's already built.
Mhm.
But I have pockets, and then I can build in those pockets. And because it is a working class district, doesn't mean that has to look bad.
Sure. Okay.
So when I came to the commission, I got the staff to know that I wanted my district to look better.
Correct.
And I always remember one of the staff member told me, Commissioner, this is what we're going to do for you. And that's because they already knew my goals.
Excellent.
We're going to have a boss from the county. We're going to get 20 developers, and we're going to do a ride along to your district to identify those places that can be rebuilt.
Excellent.
Or can we do? We were one whole day driving around my developers. The second thing I wanted to do was to make sure that my district represent the people that live there.
Okay.
The majority of the voters are Hispanics.
Okay.
And I used to tell staff, listen, we Hispanics, we like Spanish architecture.
Correct.
So I wanted to build and to remodel everything. Since that could not be done, and the staff was with me and understood me,
Mhm.
they decided internally to make a policy where everything that was going to be built from there on was going to be Spanish architecture.
Mhm.
They came to me and they said, Commissioner, it doesn't matter if you're not the commissioner,
Okay.
that's the way it's going to build.
Excellent.
So that's a legacy.
Because of your
Yeah.
relationship with staff, and the staff works long after the commissioner's terms are
Yeah.
over, your legacy is having Spanish style renovations or
Correct.
styles.
If you drive the district right now in terms of the new construction,
Mhm.
it's Spanish architecture. The other big thing that we were able to accomplish, we needed 5 gymnasiums.
Yes.
There was no funding for that.
Mhm.
But I secretly knew that we could do it.
Yes.
And because I could negotiate,
Mhm.
I negotiate with the magic. I remember, and that's historical. That's historical
Phenomenal.
because I remember that when I started negotiating with, nobody knew that I was negotiating that. When I was negotiating with the magic with Alex Martin,
Mhm.
I said, Alex, we don't have money, and we need these gymnasiums for children that are underserved, and it has to be around the district. We got it done.
It's these public-private partnerships
Correct.
that are part of your legacy. And from your professional point of view, in regards to property taxes, would that mean smaller local government if any of these reforms actually become law?
Absolutely. I do believe that small government can accomplish much, much
Mhm.
more. One of the things that I was very concerned, and I was always talking to the county administrator about that, was what kind of programs do we have in local government where we can retire individuals, like all corporate America does.
Sure.
You have a plan where you start retiring and offering packages in order to retire. I could not believe that we had individuals with 40 years serving the county.
Wow.
Hello.
Wow.
And then, of course, at that time, I don't know now how it is,
Mhm.
but at that time, there was none. There was none. So to me, that was a surprise coming from corporate America,
Mhm.
where I was offered a package for 25 years of service. I did not have the age. I did not have the 30 years with IBM, but I was offered a terrific package.
Right.
And I continue doing a second career and a
Okay.
third career,
Okay.
you see? And those are things that people doesn't understand.
Right.
Do you think the role of technology and social media has changed the way that campaigns connect with voters?
Absolutely. For the good and for the bad.
Oh. Oh, let's hear it.
Yeah. Technology, of course, I come from technology
Yes.
and it's phenomenal. But one of the things that I have found in social media is the attacks.
Okay.
I do believe that you can run a campaign without attacking. I learned from IBM that I was not allowed to speak wrongly about my competition.
Okay.
That's a
Right.
no-no in
Mhm.
IBM.
Mhm.
I ran with 5 handsome males. There were 5. I was the only woman the first time. And whenever I was asked, who are your opponent, opponents, I always said 5 handsome men,
I like that.
and I won. The attacks, and most of them are not even true.
Sure.
We need to respect and be respected.
Mhm.
And to me, that's the way I've seen social media today. It's terrible. Hurts, damage, images, and I think that more than positive, it has become negative.
I agree.
I do believe that if you feel that you're a candidate and you're a winnable candidate, you sell yourself, you sell your product.
Right.
I don't have to talk bad about my opponent in order to gain votes. I don't have to. And that was something that I have always, always kept in my mind.
I agree with you, Commissioner. If you cannot win on your own merit, I agree.
What opportunities or challenges do you think upcoming candidates will face?
Budget,
Mhm.
campaign money, the donors. No, a person, in order to donor in your campaign, has to know you
Right.
in order to put money.
Mhm.
Donations every day, it's less because the quality of the campaigners, it's not the best.
Mhm.
The donors are the old people. When I say old, it's not always in age, but the old timers around here, we're talking specifically about Florida, that they have built wealth.
Mhm.
And those individuals are used to know the candidates. Otherwise, and what have you done? So when we have in a race 6 candidates and the donors doesn't know them,
Hmm.
it's very difficult. The other thing is that candidates are not disciplined. So they don't understand that if a donor doesn't know me, I have to make an appointment and meet that donor.
That's right.
And not too many people likes that.
Mhm.
The other thing that a candidate has to do is making calls for 3 hours every day in order for the donors to know you. Why? Because campaigns are becoming very expensive because of social media. And it's not only the poll card now,
Oh, yes.
it's TV.
Yes.
When I was a candidate, TV was not that much into it. TV, it's very expensive.
Streaming services.
And then if you don't have a consultant or campaign people to really give you the money or to understand what you do, there is no way you can.
And that goes back to what you were saying about relationships and building relationships, like with staff. When you were a commissioner, but even before you were a commissioner, going out early, working holidays, working early in the morning into the evening, and getting to know and understand your voters, your constituents, your residents, and the same holds true for the donors.
Absolutely. I remember I was the underdog.
Yes.
I didn't know anybody.
Yes.
But I decided that I had to meet, I always remember the CEO of the Expressway.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know the person,
Mm-hmm.
but the person already knew about me and knew that I was a corporate person.
Mm-hmm.
When I called to make an appointment, he even made a presentation for me to understand the Expressway.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. And that was one of the biggest donors I had.
And he recognized how important you are as a commissioner, as someone who is a resident of Orange County, and also how working with you can also achieve his agenda and move forward on both ends.
You know what I did in 408? I decided when I became county commissioner, I wanted to keep learning.
Yes.
So I decided that I wanted to collect money in the tolls.
Okay.
So I called the Expressway CEO.
Yes.
And my aide asked for a uniform as a toll person, operator. Even Scott Maxwell could not believe it. And he said, I have to be with you. I can't believe that you're going to be collecting money, an operator in 408. And I said, come with me. That was the most fun I had and the most learning experience I had.
Wow.
So we decided to do a plaque that says, Commissioner Fernandez at your service. And we put it in the 408 toll. Interesting when the people stopped for change because I was the one offering. When they saw me, they couldn't believe it. I had Scott Maxwell next to me, and we even have photos of that.
Wow.
Scott Maxwell said, you are too much. But you know what I learned? I learned how the money down the toll, how the money is collected, how it's distributed, and how it goes from one toll to the other.
Wow.
It was a great experience. And that's how I learned. I have done things that no commissioner or mayor has done before.
Every single time I learned something new.
I used to go to the jail at midnight by surprise.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody knew that I was there.
Wow. You were definitely hands-on.
Hands-on. And I learned. That's the way you learn.
And you can say that you were
exactly
on this, on that.
Each time I drive a toll, I always remember the day that I spent in one of the booths, and I know how the money is collected.
Wow. And people do ask, okay, I'm paying these tolls. Where is my money going to? How does this operate? What's the importance? And you can actually sit down with someone and say, well, in my experience with the tollway authority, X, Y, and Z occurred, and so forth and so on. And every single time, learn something new about you.
It was a fun time because not only I could give from what I know, but I also learn.
Mhm.
And to me, that was great.
Excellent. Wow.
What advice would you give to future leaders preparing for these upcoming election years?
What was the first part?
What advice would you give?
What advice? Read, walk, and learn. If you are running for the Board of County Commissioners, make sure you sit there on Tuesday, because Tuesday's morning, it's when public policy is done. And please have the Roberts Rule book with you.
Yes.
Please,
Yes.
please, please.
Guilty.
In the mornings, that's when public policy. Learn what public policy is. If you are running for any other position, I sat with all the judges in Orange County because I wanted to learn how the court of the clerk works
Mhm.
and how the cases are seen.
Right.
And I was disciplined once a week. I would go to the court and I sat with a judge to see cases. Usually, I was very much interested in cases that had to deal with my district.
Okay.
I wanted to learn the level of education of the person, what was the issue, and why. So learning and walking, it's prime.
Wow. It's so much knowledge and experience in your term as commissioner that you have to offer to others. And with learning so much, and for the candidates new to politics, if there was one thing besides sitting down in the commissioner chambers and really listening and understanding, learning about policy, but personally, as an individual preparing to run for office, what advice would you give? One piece of advice that you would give to them? Personal development.
Yeah. The personal development, and it's learning about everything. How to dress, how to conduct yourself.
Mhm.
I see discussions today in the Board of County Commissioners between one commissioner and other that I only see a lack of respect. Like, for example, during my commission days, we would not talk unless we will press the bell or whatever it is, and the mayor would authorize us to speak.
Yeah.
Today, I see District 5 talking to one, and then the two interrupts. That's terrible for me, because what I see, I do not agree politically with the mayor, but I respect him. And it doesn't matter. We need to respect him as a man, him as a mayor, and him as a human being.
Yes.
And I don't see that.
Okay.
And the more personal development you have in terms of learning, it's not only learning about how to do public policy, but how can I look better to impress?
Yes.
Because when you walk into a room, and you know that because I have observed you, when you walk into a room, you know when you are being noticed.
It's true. It's very true.
And we need to do a school.
Oh, that is
A
in the works,
training
Commissioner.
school, because we will have so many areas to
Yes.
cover
This December, we will sit down, get this started.
because
This is a great time.
you don't have to be a CEO all the time to run for something.
True.
You can be a very humble person, and I admire that. But it's if you have the willingness in order to learn and to be better.
Mhm.
Even it's like when when I teach to my children, being an engineer doesn't make you the best. You have to know a little of golf. You have to know a little of tennis, baseball, business,
Mhm.
because you don't know when you're going to be in a golf course that you're going to meet someone that it's going to get you where you want to be.
That's correct.
And if you don't know a little of golf, you cannot talk about it.
That's correct.
You
Oh,
see?
I-
And that's personal development.
I have found myself in that
Oh,
exact situation.
sure.
Yes, that is the truth. Taylor, any more questions?
What signs do you look for to understand how engaged the community is during a local election?
What was that?
What signs do you look for to understand how engaged the community is during a local election?
Signs. Signs.
Let's say, how do we know that the campaigns are engaging the electorate? What do you see? What have you seen? What have you experienced that shows that the electorate is electrified? They're excited. They want to knock down the doors of the polling place.
I think we're going through a transitional process.
Mhm.
And it's because of all we have talked before.
Correct.
Our candidates need to develop that interest in motivating voters. I think that right now the candidates are more for them
Sure.
than for the people they're going to represent.
Mhm.
I admire a person that has grown and come so beautifully, and it's Johanna.
Mhm. Yes.
Johanna Lopez. I think that it has to do her personal experiences,
Oh.
but also it being a teacher.
Mhm.
And Johanna has one of the best assets. She listens. That lady can be driving to Tallahassee and she will be calling me, asking me questions, and all the way to Tallahassee.
Mhm.
And then when she comes back from Tallahassee, she would call me. We need to talk. We need to talk. Because everything that I have advised her, she listens and she executes. And she's a very humble lady.
Yes. Yes.
Her
she is.
background, it's very humble.
Yes, it is.
She has not been a CEO,
That's correct.
but she listens.
Mhm.
And let me tell you, she had, and you know that, difficulties in the legislature.
Yes. Yes.
But I always tell her, you're so pretty and you are so sociable
Yes.
that you need to be loved.
Mhm.
People love you.
Mhm.
She's a Democrat. Republicans, we love her.
Yes.
And then and right now she is writing some bills on education that are incredible.
Excellent.
And I'm sure they're going to pass.
Excellent. That's great.
But it's because she listens in order to execute.
And she is the type of individual that she would garner support from across the aisle
Exactly.
because she does listen. She's the first to listen and then offer, recommendations, solutions, et cetera, et cetera. She's good at that.
I love
Very
her.
good one.
Yeah.
A very good
She's
one.
coming a long way and she's going to be great.
I have one more question. What do you hope your impact has been on local government and community engagement?
Local government and community engagement.
Yes, your impact.
in my case, was big.
Mhm.
But I think that that engagement, I was blessed that the staff was there with me,
Yeah.
so that I could serve the community the way I wanted to serve.
Mhm.
And we doing food drive, it's not enough.
Mm,
You
agreed.
the food comes from other sources.
Mhm.
It's not. I remember my kite festival. Have we had kite festivals again?
No.
No. And those kite festival,
Fun.
7,000 people would show up.
Fun.
But it was something different, and it was the community coming. I still see people that they would tell me, I remember when you donate the school bags. I remember when my child got a haircut, because when I did the back to school, it was not only back to school. We had the vaccinations, we had the hair cutters, we had physical exams, and those were partnerships with UCF, with the School of Nurses. So we had a lot of people coming.
Right.
So food, it's not only to engage, you have to be creative. And it's amazing how the community respond when they see that you're engaged. But the backing that I have from recreational, from the people that had to come up with the parks and recreation, it was phenomenal.
Yes.
It was phenomenal because they knew, but those were events that would take 6 months to organize. And sometimes commissioners or elected officials doesn't want to go through that. It's a lot of work.
And that's what they're there to do.
Exactly. You're there to serve people. I never consider myself a politician. I always consider myself a public servant.
Excellent. Commissioner, happy December. Thank you again for having Taylor and myself here in your beautiful home. Always lovely. Enjoy your generosity. You are awesome. How was your Thanksgiving?
My Thanksgiving was beautiful. I had my children, my grandchildren, even my ex-husband.
Yes.
Yeah, we're all family here. Of course, the children make sure that I was served, and they don't let me do nothing. You know that I don't cook, so everything was ordered. And the girls, of course, my daughter-in-laws and my daughter, they were in charge of the kitchen. But it was beautiful, and we always pray.
Excellent.
And we thank the Lord for the family, for the military, for the president, and for having health.
Excellent.
It was beautiful. And let me tell you, I am honored that I have been with you this time, and
Thank you.
share what I know.
Oh, it is so much.
And
So
it
valuable.
has been a pleasure. I know that God has not finished with me,
Oh, yes.
and that He had some other plans for me, and I accept that. And I'm here always to help you.
Excellent.
We have become friends. I think you're a great professional.
Thank you.
Taylor, I wish you the very best in the coming years. You're such a beautiful young lady, and I admire you because you belong to a generation that we rely on your expertise and your knowledge. But I'm here for you as well. And anything I can do for you guys, I'm here for.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Hopefully, we'll also have an enjoyable December Christmas in New Year, will you be spending it with family also?
Oh, yes, yes, yes. Everything. It's about the family. One of my children are going to spend 3 weeks in Puerto Rico.
Oh.
He does that almost every year. But after the rest of the family, we stick together like glue.
Excellent. And it should be.
And I want to thank your viewers
Yes, yes.
for seeing this podcast.
Oh, yes.
And I hope that they all can learn something about it, especially those that are thinking in running for any race. And please don't try to run for Congress if you have not been a commissioner first. This is like a school.
Mm-hmm.
You first go to first grade in order to go to college.
As it should be. It's great
Thank you.
advice.
Thank you very much.
Thank you again on behalf of Taylor, myself, the Jane Washington Network, our viewers that are growing and growing with
Good.
every piece of content.
Absolutely.
We really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
God bless you.
God bless, Commissioner.